Welcome once more to tonight's action for the Real Good Racing League and its top series, the Chase for the Kaiwo Class Cup. Tonight, we go retro racing. We go to North Wilkesboro, and we do it here on Grid Vision. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me is Brian Britt and Darby Shaw producing as we get set to go racing for 250 laps at one of the oldest racetracks you'll see on the platform. A track open since 1947, except for a couple of years, obviously, and multiple closings. In fact, of course, coming back to river racing just a couple of years ago, Brian.
Yeah, definitely super excited to be here at this racetrack. I mean, this is NASCAR history right here, and we get to race on it in the sim. I can't wait to see more of it in real life as well. 95 degrees on the track at the moment, so fairly cool, not too hot. These Xfinity cars, of course, can be quite the handful, and I think they're going to be quite tricky around this racetrack. North Wilkesboro known for a lot of contact, beating and banging. I think we're going to see here tonight.
Let's take a look at the point standings, and Thomas Wolfe has been on a tear. One thing is certain, he needs wins. He's gotten 4 on the trot. That's closed the gap to him and Lance Ripka to 14 points. Those two, the likely front runners for the championship. Jason Spear, as of late, though, he's also been on a tear. He's up to 3rd in the points. And he's picked up a big cushion, in fact, over TJ Rogers, with Rogers missing the past couple races. And even then, others like Tony Ratliff, Scott Gilly, Greg Ratliff are a fair bit behind in the battle for the top 3, Brian.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting to note. I mean, Travis Rogers, TJ Rogers has been, early in the season, he was one of the guys to beat. I mean, he was top 3 every race, it seemed to be, and hasn't been here. So hopefully everything's going okay with him. But we do have some new blood out here, Justin.
Yes, indeed we do. We have several new drivers, including Darren Bruce, Klaus Williams, as well as Chad McGinley and May Shook. Of those, 2 of them were amongst some of the fastest drivers amongst the qualifying session.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I know one driver in particular we know of course, is Chad McGinley. Incredibly fast from what we've seen. It looks like we got our schedule.
Taking a look what's coming up. It's Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble. 2 races to gobble up when it comes to the schedule this week. It's champion action from Atlanta. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And RGR comes back into play on Sunday at Kansas Speedway, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So enjoy your Thanksgiving. And oh, by the way, packages are available for the new year to be on this channel and on this network. Grid Vision, the place you want to be. Meanwhile, we get set to go. You were about to say.
I'm saying we got quite a break next week. It's going to be very interesting. A lot of time that we're going to be able to spend with our families. Going to definitely love that for sure.
Well, Canadian Thanksgiving, for reference, was in October, so that's in reference, of course, to American Thanksgiving. So, in that regard, though, your expectations for this race tonight, looking at a 2-stopper based on the fuel mileage.
Yeah, expectations, I don't know. I mean, these guys were very clean, I'd say, at Martinsville relative to other leagues I've seen run at Martinsville. So I suspect this race is probably going to be very similar, hopefully. Of course, no fast repairs or anything like that to be spoken of. But, of course, you talk about fuel, 100 to 110 laps, I do believe, is the estimated fuel window. 5 sets of tires down in the pits. Now, I don't know what tire wear is going to look like. I know the Xfinity car is known for higher tire wear, so we'll see.
Qualifying already taking place moments ago, as talked about. Warm-ups now complete. Bernard Person will start at the tail of the field, so take his second spot and shuffle it back to 19th. Greg Ratliff does set the pole regardless, though. For Ratliff, it is his 4th pole in his 8th start this year. Buckshot Ripka, in turn, starts in row 2 alongside Thomas Wolfe. Wolfe gets to move to the outside of the front row. Chad McGinley on debut. He starts 5th alongside William Gay in the 44. Then it's Jason Spear. He was amongst those very consistent in practice, a 19 flat. That was his mark in practice alongside Michael Walker. Klaus Williams, he'll start in 9th alongside George Dibble to round out the top 10.
11th place is going to be Adam Recker. 12th place, Tony Ratliff. 13th, Adam Kulikowski. 14th, Darren Bruce, new driver. Of course, 15th, Mays Shook, a new driver as well. Zendel Collins in 16th, Mark Schrader in 17th, Daniel Blau in 18th. And the Toad Man, Todd Gilly, rounds out this 19-car field.
See, we already talked about expectations. We already have one driver starting at the tail. Who do you think gets the job done tonight?
That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I got to say, I mean, I know a lot of people probably that watch this league all the time are like, why would you say this? But I got to go with Chad McGinley. I feel like this guy has been a proven winner. He's been a proven championship contender in other leagues. Glad to see him in this one. I can't wait to see what that 31 can do.
We'll see what happens here tonight, especially with the high expectations for the 91. Right now, he's got the track position advantage over the 52, but it's still anyone's championship if anything happens to your front runners. Again, we're glad to have you with us for RGR action. It's the Cup Series for the fall, the chase for the Kailu Glass Cup, and it's all set to go from North Wilkesboro. Ratliff in control. Wolf on the outside, followed by Ripka. Small restart zone for today. Green flag is out for the first time. We're underway from North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, it didn't take but a second for that green flag to come out. As soon as that pace car dipped down pit road, battling for second place as Buckshot Ripka tries to drive it in on the inside. He has been unsuccessful at beating Wolf so far in the second half of this season. Let's see what he can do here tonight. As he does get clear, he's going to move up in front of the 91.
At the bottom of the racetrack going to be extremely important tonight because you can make something work up high, but for the most part, with this downforce of car, expect drivers to wrap the bottom and need to arc it just right, depending on if they're going uphill or downhill like this circuit. In this case, now they're going downhill.
Yeah, that's definitely a really, really good point. The elevation of this racetrack, as well as, of course, what you're going to need to be able to make passes at this place. You can, like you said, make that top line work. It's going to be very difficult to do so, but you're probably going to be risking burning your equipment up, as Greg Ratliff, of course, leads these first few laps, as he's got about a 3/10 to 4/10 of a second gap right now on Buckshot Ripka. Ripka is closing in. We'll have to see if that remains to be the case, but I think a lot of these guys might have, turn lap mode kind of in, as we got somebody spinning around. As Daniel Blau in the 17 has fallen all the way back to last. No caution.
We stay green. He is not having a fun time. He struggled in practice, actually full throttled it a couple times to the wall. Spartan Racing Machine does what could happen for a lot of precautions today. Getting loose off turn 4 is common here.
Yeah, definitely, especially with this car. I mean, this car has hardly any downforce. It's kind of like driving a brick. And, you're going to get back on that gas. And the car, you're asking a lot for those tires. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened there with Daniel Blau. Luckily, it didn't cause a caution, but he is going to cause, I think, possibly some guys to go a lap down, or for him to be lap traffic early in this race already. I mean, he's already, I do believe, almost 15 seconds behind the leaders. Lap times around this place are a little bit over 19.
Already a tenth or two of fall off. Looking towards the back of the main pack right now. Sandal Collins already up 1. The Toad Man, Todd Gilly, already up 3 spots. Bernard Person also back here trying to close up. And we talked about the importance of running to the bottom. You can make multi-groove racing work because you technically need to use the second. Hold on, trouble. 16, Klaus Williams stuck in the grass. No caution. We stay green.
Yeah, Klaus Williams just got turned by somebody. I know this was based on some contact. We're going to take a look back at the replay and see exactly what happened here. Well, no, got loose. He saves it, but I think the 16, he just got loose twice in a row there. One on the exit of the corner and one on the entry. Now, that's kind of normal with a track like this, considering he got loose, saved it, and probably tried to get back into turning his normal lap. And unfortunately, the car had not, really regathered the grip yet, And
that, in turn, hurt some. Of note, May Shook in the pit lane. Mandatory repairs already. He hit the wall on his own. He had been running in 18th. So we already have our first meatball flag. And drivers are only 11 laps into this one.
Shocked we haven't been seeing any cautions for these accidents, but I guess we should be lucky. Count ourselves fortunate, but I guarantee the drivers out there are not counting themselves fortunate with those caution flags not flying. But Chad McGinley performing very well. He's starting to catch up to the back end of Thomas Wolf. Last time by, he was a 10th faster than the 91.
We've already seen Chad McGinley compete in Grid Vision Super Speedways throughout the past few weeks. And for those wondering, what drew him to RGR? Well, interesting enough, obviously SSRL came to a close for its main campaign for the Cup side. So he was wondering, okay, where do I go here? Especially as well with the truck season starting to get towards its final moment on that side. So he looked at RGR after watching the broadcast last week, joined the league this week, and in turn, this is first start in this main series for RGR.
Yeah, and I got to be honest. I mean, he's any other driver that would join the series, I would say, oh, they probably don't have a chance to win. But I'd say he has a really good shot. I mean, every league I've seen him in, he's been incredibly fast, no matter what car. And I think he's got a good shot at it. Of course, he's going to have to get past one of the toughest customers in this series, that Barbie machine, of course, of Thomas Wolf. And Wolf, I think, has just hit the go button.
And he has a lot of
there goes Blau spinning out down pit road. Wow.
No caution. We stay green. Oh, and don't turn around on the track. Let's take a look at the replay. He is trying to turn around on the racetrack. Thankfully, no caution because the car that was close to him and shook also pit. This is what shook him to the pit.
Yeah, just another spin outside of turn number 4. Wow, he barely missed that tire, that entry to pit road. Wall, that could have easily been a lot worse. But you're saying that he was trying to turn around and enter back the track. That I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Yeah, and this could have very likely been a caution with the timing of that, but we still stay green. So, up at the front, it's Greg Ratliff still holding on to the race lead, though, not making it easy to pass him so far. Still playing hard defense. Ripka keeping to the bumper.
Yeah, Ripka's looking really quick, and of course they just put down Klaus Williams a lap down. Daniel Blau has come to pit road. I think he's going to be taking a tow. I think that's probably going to be it for him tonight. Maybe he's going to be making it to his box. We'll see, but definitely a lot of pressure being applied to the back end of the 5 machine. Of course, Lance Ripka and Greg Ratliff, no strangers to one another. They race each other quite a bit, but they are going to be encountering even more lap traffic. Zendel Collins right ahead of them, and he looks like he's loose.
Yeah, right now that car running 23s. The leaders are running 19 threes. Oh, and Collins able to keep up top. Looks like he's going to give the room. Nicely done as the leaders sit by on the bottom. Thomas Wolf reaches him at a bad spot, though. This is going to cost him a few tenths. But well done once again to let by the leaders go with the quick speed rapidly around this track.
Yeah, good on Zendel to try to get out of the way. I think he understands that he's off the pace. I even talked to him the other day, and I was asking, like, why do you feel like you're struggling so bad? He's like, I don't know if it's a wheel or pedal settings. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. He's been troubleshooting to figure it out. He feels like he should be more competitive, but at least he had the respect and awareness to kind of get out of the way of those leaders. They were racing close.
Should be interesting how it plays out the rest of the night for him. Remember, he was the one with the 3D printed wheel. Take a look, though, at Jason Spear. He is currently holding on to 6th. He's behind William Gay. For William Gay, it's been a while since his last start. He made a start all the way back at Darlington, October the 1st. He's been very busy since then. Now, finally able to get a chance to run in the full-fledged series tonight in his 44. His second career start. He finished 7th at Darlington back in October.
And he looks really, really fast. I mean, lap time wise, he's running right there with what the guys ahead of him are. One thing I'm noticing, though, is quite a bit of fall off starting to present itself here.
Thomas Wolf, hard in the wall. Contact was shook. We're under caution.
And you talk about this guy needing a win. Well, this is exactly what he did not need. As you can see, critical damage on the 91. Smoke pouring out of that race car. It's right there. Coming out of turn, I think, 2. Onto the straightaway. Unfortunately, got in with a lap car, the new driver of Shook.
It looks like absolutely Thomas Wolf came up there.
Yeah. I don't think Shook was doing anything wrong. He was up at the wall as close as he could get.
Yeah. And that might be the championship dagger right there, Brian.
That is just a heartbreaker for Thomas Wolf. Had won 4 races in a row, and with that, I think that pretty much guarantees he's not going to win this race.
But this championship now going to be extremely hard for him to win because that hit alone is at least, with how things are running, a 17-point swing in Ripka's direction.
Yeah, that is just a heartbreaker for Thomas Wolfe. Not what he needed. Had a fantastic performance at the short track Martinsville. Thought he was going to replicate that here tonight. Unfortunately, that was not the case. And just dealing with a lap car. I think he just wasn't being as aware as he could have. Because like you said, he was not giving that lap car room. The lap car was giving him plenty of room. So I would not put that on the 34 at all.
An unbelievable swing of events. Mind you, the top runners did stay out here. Interestingly enough, we have a lot of tire sets available. 5 in the pits for tonight. And North Wilkesboro is huge on tire wear. Remember the first main race here at the track for eNASCAR competition where Christian Challenger took tires and no one else did, and he nearly lapped the field? Mm-hmm. That comes to mind here in the next moment with Michael Walker, Bernard Person, and several more in that call.
No, I think you're exactly right. And I think that could even be represented as well in real life. I mean, I feel like we saw Kyle Larson really drive through the field on new tires in real life when they racing that All-Star race. And he was the fastest car by far. I mean, literally drove his way to the front. And so I think that could happen. I mean, we saw right when I was getting ready to mention it right before Wolfe had his accident, that we were seeing a half a second of fall off. A half a second's big at a track like this.
And tire spin here is huge. It looks like we're coming up to the restart zone. Next time by for the start, it's Ratliff, Ripka, McKinley, Gay, Spear, all staying out. Michael Walker II is the first on fresh tires. Everybody who came in, maybe to the exception of Tony Ratliff, took tires. Of note, Lucky Dog, Zendel Collins. Surprisingly, the Lucky Dog did not take tires either.
You know, I think that could be explained because it's a short track. I mean, he probably didn't want to. He could end up going right back a lap down again.
Here we go. Green flag. No major tire spin off to start this time. And already near side-by-side for the lead. McGinley looking for the poke for second. Instead, Ripka trying to get it on the high side. Can't get to the leader.
McGinley kind of struggled there on the exit of turn 2. But Ripka definitely did not. He is looking really, really fast. It's been hounding Ratliff all race long. But here comes Jason Spear. He's been one of the most consistent drivers this season, I have got to say. I mean, I was not impressed early in the season, but he has been looking incredibly good on the longer runs and consistency-wise. As we see William Gay, of course, battling with Bernard Person. Keep in mind, Person qualified outside pole. Had to go all the way to the back of the field. He's now up in 5th, and he's on fresh tires. First driver on fresh tires here, Justin.
And Walker II finally has a hole underneath the 44. It's his first start in a while as well. He had a few weeks away with his schedule. And in turn, this is his 6th start of the season. Officially on the calendar. Michael Walker II, mind you, one top 5. That was at Bristol. That was a short track, by the way. The first of the season.
What I found really interesting, kind of the call to Greg Ratliff. Ratliff's running some of his fastest laps right now, 19.223. That was the fastest lap, not of the race, but of the competition. And he's not on new tires. So this is interesting to note. I wonder if maybe clean air has something to do with it. I know this is a short track, but I mean, still it could.
It almost goes back to the thought process of what you see with the late models where you can have a ton of laps on them, but they're okay for the restart, for the short run, for the fire off. But once it's fired off, those tires, the flames go up fast.
That's true. I think, cold cycle, they probably cooled off, got a little bit of cleanness, newness to them. But they will get back to where they were before, of course, as we see Jason Spear under fire from Bernard Person. Bernard Person trying to get his way underneath the 83, as we see other battles kind of coming to fruition. But very, very clean race thus far, as I've been really enjoying this. North Wilkesboro definitely has not been disappointing. Here comes Person to the inside. Looks like he's going to make the pass here on the front stretch.
Not a surprise, getting some give and take from his boss man to Spear Motorsports machines, going back and forth. Interestingly enough, all the drivers on the fresher tires, if anything, feel boxed in. Doesn't seem like they're trying to push the issue. If anything, trying to conserve things, because It's still a two-stopper for them on gas. Now, keep in mind, based on if you were to go green, you're within 30 laps. When was that caution? Well, they came in about 13 laps ago. They're just outside the window technically to make it on a one-stop.
Yeah, if we see another caution, it'll be a one-stop if everybody comes down pit road. Some guys might elect to stay out because short tracks, you can kind of gamble on it, whether there's going to be a caution or not. And most of the time, you can gamble that there will be. We'll see, though. Here comes a person. He's on the inside of now, I do believe that is Chad McGinley. No, I'm sorry, that's Jason Spear on the inside of Chad McGinley. Two blue cars, getting a little confused. But look at that. McGinley starting to fall back. He's kind of locked up on that top side. That top side has not been very good here in this Xfinity car.
Nowhere for Walker the second to go on the fresh tires. Bernard Person, again, is the first on fresh tires. He's looking everywhere, and now he's in the same spot as Walker the second. Looking for a hole. Doesn't get one on the outside. The bottom is already defended. Where do you go? He tries it up top.
Very smart moves here from the 52 of Buckshot. I mean, he really is giving him the top. He's like, yeah, you can try to pass me up there, but he's not giving him the bottom. He's like, I'm going to defend this down here. I know this is where the money's at. But look at that. Person is able to make it happen. Wow, what a pass. Shows how just valuable those tires are.
Already the pace difference. Once in clean space, 0.2 of a second quicker. Tough part has been getting the space. Now he looks for his first lead. Traffic already quickly approaching 2. Hugging the bottom, Ratliff. Greg's feeling the pressure from our Person. He's on the bumper. Where does Person go to make the move?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Greg's going to probably do the same thing that Lance Ripka did. He's not going to really give him the bottom. So we'll have to see if Person's able to make the pass on the top again. I mean, we'll see. Two different drivers. Greg Ratliff probably doesn't want to be passed. But I'll tell you, a lot of these drivers in this field are making notes of this right here. They are watching all of this that has happened with this strategy and how valuable these new tires have been to those drivers. I'm guaranteeing they're making a little note saying, hey, this is something I can have in the toolbox as well. As we see, I do believe Chad McGinley trying to hold off Jason Spear. He's going to verge on 3 wide right here as Michael Walker tries to find a way around.
That's in the second pack. The lead still staying stagnant. Michael Walker the second, still no place to go. McKinley still trying to use the outside line more so than the inside. Now it opens up, but lap traffic is coming up. May Shook is trying to run the very top. McKinley keeps boxing in Walker the second, and now lap traffic going to make it 3 wide again.
3 wide is something you do not want to really see at this racetrack. It can work, but not well, as they do make it through safely. It looks like good to see that, as Michael Walker still trying to make something happen. Mark Schrader as well looking pretty quick, getting up to the back bumper of the 22, as we see Adam Recker as well entering this battle. So this has become a multi-car battle, several cars
No later.
as we look back to the front.
New leader indeed. Bernard Person taking the lead. He nearly spun it originally out of 4, but Greg Ratliff did give him the space to take the lead. Here's the look. Could have very simply said, you lost your grip. You have to try again. Instead, Ratliff says, you know what? You showed the nose. I will let you go.
Yeah, I mean, that just really speaks, I'd say, to the level of respect that this series has. I mean, they are always, kind of just letting, really giving each other a lot of room to save it. That's why this is one of the cleanest leagues we call, and I love it for that reason. As we see, some close racing there. Michael Walker almost thinking about possibly about turning McGinley for 4th here, as well as we see some more lap cars. That is Zindel Collins now going back a lap down. I think he's probably wishing he had taken that set of tires when he had the chance.
I'm shocked he didn't take the set of tires. It's the lucky dog. That would have put him in a much different window. Everyone who took tires within 7 seconds of the leader Person currently. Already a change for 3rd, by the way. There's my 4th router, Michael Walker, able to make the move. Next up on that strategy, by the way, is Recker and Schrader. Those two, though, are not having a fun time. On the average, they are slower than those on old tires.
Yeah, that's interesting to say the least. So I'm telling you who is just driving away right now. Bernard Person has got already 1.2 seconds on this field. He is gone. Lap time wise, he has been just about 0.2, even more faster than the rest of the field. I'm telling you, these guys, if they're any of these guys paying attention to Bernard Person, they are just jotting all of this information down, saying we have got to keep how valuable these tires are in mind.
Just an absolute rocket right now in the fresh boots. Nearly 1.4 seconds up. We've been talking a lot about McGinley on his debut tonight. Well, also making a debut in the series tonight, let's talk about Darren Bruce. He's the last of the lead lap. But it is a familiar face. Remember Wind Tunnel Racing? He was one of its top drivers with Stingray Racing. Well, since then, he just so happens to be the top driver for Division 2 in C-Fix competition this season. Usually runs in the trucks. He dominated in his RGR debut on Thursday in its truck series. Tonight, struggling with this car.
That's not a surprise, really. I mean, this car is much different than the NASCAR truck. I think we saw that a lot last night in the Turkey Trot. I mean, we saw those two different vehicles, or three different vehicles kind of displayed in front of us. But, Darren, I think he'll figure it out. I mean, knowing him, he's very, very talented. I remember the days back in Wind Tunnel. He was one of the guys that was going for a championship. I mean, the team he was on, Stingray, him and Dean Doucette were incredibly fast. Both of those guys were race winners in that series. So I do suspect he's going to probably hit the ground running it. He's going to figure it out. He's got a long way to go, just under 200 laps to kind of get that experience in. He's cutting his teeth right now, Justin.
And from my understanding, Jamie Bray's also been running some races. He's a part of that respective group for Stingray. So there is a lot of interest building with a lot of drivers as we make our way to the winter season. Taking a look at some of the yards on the tire strat. Adam Recker's trying to pick up some pace again. Running 19.8s. And Chad McGinley is in. Chad McGinley is in the pits on lap 58. What is going on? Something's wrong.
Yeah, something's got to be wrong here. I'm not exactly sure what the decision here is. I think maybe just the car not handling well for the 31. He looks like he is going to be picking the left sides up, the right side's taking a 4-tire stop here. But this is very, very curious. He's coming off pit road, so he's not done for the day. I was thinking maybe like he was giving up, but I think I just think really I got to be honest, the fixed setup is probably throwing him for a loop. This guy raced in, I do believe, I'm sure SSR is that a fixed series or is that an open series?
It's fixed.
So, okay. Well, I just know from where I've seen him in the GRL, the Global Racing Truck Series.
That too.
That was an open setup series. So that's why I thought maybe he might not be used to driving in a fixed setup. A lot of drivers out there, a lot of our audience might not know that there is a big difference in open and fixed racing.
And Zeno Collins has picked a black flag and just about floored it into his pit box. So it looks like the 49 has now pulled off.
Bernard Person's now out to almost 2 seconds of a lead. And he is taking care of business right now. Last time by was 0.2 faster than Greg Ratliff. But the thing is that the shoe's going to be back on the other foot at some point. But if we stay green, Bernard is looking like a genius right now if we stay green. Because, I mean, he's got this gap, and it looks like we could stay green. I mean, could we even see the possibility of green flag stops? I was betting against it in this race. But, I mean, I don't know. RGR surprises you.
Take a look at pit stop differences. Tony Ratliff making a move. Collins, by the way, is officially out of the race. William Gay, a part of the Team Watson family. Tell us a little bit about him, since I believe you still have connections there.
Yeah, I mean, I still am co-owner of Team Watson Racing, but I don't, be honest with you, I don't really know William Gay. I do believe he might be one of our subscribers, if I'm not mistaken.
With Ramrod? Does Ramrod Motorsports sound more familiar?
It doesn't really. I mean, there's a lot of people that are in the team. I feel so bad. William, I apologize. I got to get more apprised. I do believe he's a subscriber of ours, though. Like a paying customer. So we definitely appreciate it. If he's representing us, I definitely appreciated it, either way, even if he's a house driver. There's a lot of people to keep track of, Justin. I do apologize.
Well, keep in mind, when he does make some race starts, he has been pretty consistent keeping it clean. After all, he just won some league action in a league called Gearheads just about a few weeks ago. He's also a Facebook streamer. Yes, people stream on Facebook. It's actually very popular. Did you know you can make money off of it?
And I just did check. He is a subscriber for Team Watson Racing Setup. So,
yes.
yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do a lot of Facebook streaming and iRacing. I've seen a lot of that. I mean, that is definitely people have thousands and thousands of followers that watch them game every week.
Yeah, I was about to say, when it comes to that, I find it really intriguing about just showing the love just by posting a logo. It technically works as a free advertising model per se for a car, as you see gate continues to drop back here. That's among some of the drivers with some of the fresher tires 2 laps down. But, hey, it's a part of showing your adoration for the help supported from this respective group as we look at the leader.
Yeah, he's doing really, really fantastic here. He was. He's back here in 12th, of course, right now. But Bernard Person out to almost 3 seconds right now. This guy's driving away. And lap 71, I mean, this thing's going by fairly quickly right now. So we have a really good green stint going on. We're now 45 laps into this run. 46, I should say.
Person's right now 3.5 seconds up on the fresher tires. Now, here is where we get to the part where we talk about Bernard Person and his ability to burn the tires. He is only 1/10 of a second quicker despite being on 30-lap fresher tires. And that's where I start saying, here we go again.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I know the Spear Motorsports guys have got to have been sitting down with him and talking to him. I mean, he's very fast. I mean, our rating is respectable. I do believe over 3,000. I mean, he's got the skills to be able to save tire. So we'll see. I mean, lap time wise, he's been fairly consistent. I mean, I've seen 19.6s, 19.7s. Like, he's been hitting those off very consistently. That could be the plateau point. Now, I don't know. I mean, he's been holding it right around that same, maintaining that same gap. So we'll see. More interesting, though, is Buckshot Ripka's all over Ratliff. He's continuing to be all over him. Also, Michael Walker possibly going to enter the fray now. Last time by, though, look at Ratliff's lap time. 20 seconds. Wow.
Yeah, 20-second lap times here. With how many laps turned on 50-lap tires we're talking about here, is right now not hitting it. It's only about believe it or not, only a second to fall off on 50 laps for the leaders. And you're talking about drivers going faster than the leader.
Yeah, our producer was just mentioning something about Greg Ratliff was actually faster than Bernard Person last time by. So I think that was a consistency issue. I think he might have hit that 20-second lap and maybe cooled the tire off a little bit. Also, they're on about 77 laps in this stint on these sets of tires. I assume that Ratliff, Buckshot, any of the guys that did not pit that last time, they're going to be heavily considering green flag pit stops probably in the next 25, 30 laps, probably more to the 30 side.
And this all leans more so towards the thought you see McGinley back there, for example. I almost wonder he has to be thinking this goes green, right?
Yeah, because I think that's exactly why he pitted. This
has to be the play. You go for a massive undercut. You're already comfortably in the window. You can have a solid cushion if you go to full tank about 60 laps to end the race on the stint. If it stays green, you're likely going to take the lead here because he's already close to the leader, at least getting within 8 seconds of him after the cutoff.
And you even talked about it, I do believe. What was it, that first race they had here? I can't remember the driver's name specifically.
Christian Chauner.
Chauner, okay, yeah. Very known driver for being all kinds of disciplines of racing as well. I know we've watched him. I think it was in the Pro 2, Pro 4 before, but very fast driver. He took tires. You said he almost lapped the field. Chad might have saw that. He might have some ideas about that, you know?
Yeah, the difference being McGinley taking the green flag stop approach and electing to go very off-kilter on strategy. He still needs to gain a lot of ground to get up to the leaders, though. Right now, he is still 6 seconds back of getting back on the lead lap. He has a solid chance, at least, to getting up to several drivers for passes from then on out, if he does that. Speaking of, Bernard Person has got the back of the lead lap. Darren Bruce, he is following a lap down here.
There's actually a lot of traffic that he's getting ready to go through. Person is about to go through. He's got, I do believe, William Gay, Toad Manton Gilly, George Dibble, George Ratliff. They're all right here. Tony Ratliff. They're all right here around each other. So this is going to be quite the obstacle course that Bernard Person is going to have to go through here.
Going to have to be very smart and tactical. Traffic's been very cordial. We look towards that back of that group. Dibble's still running amongst the drivers looking for a top 10. But the Toad Man, he's not as quick, say, as the leaders. But he's right now one of the quickest out of those in his pack. He's running good mid-pack speed tonight for this race tonight.
No, he's definitely not running bad. I mean, 20.2 last time by. Not a bad lap. I mean, everybody's pretty much in that 20-second range right now, except for the drivers. I do believe that did come down pit road last time by. A lot of these guys, I think, are struggling more than others. George Dibble last time by 20.7. That is an incredibly slow lap. So guys are struggling. Adam Kulakowski, I'm surprised he's actually struggling. He's on newer tires than the rest of some of these guys. So I think we're seeing some drivers that have been burning their stuff up, burning the candles at both ends.
And it almost gets down to just the track preference, but also just the comfortability of it. Because on fresh tires, you're able to gain a lot of track, yes. You make a lot of mistakes, though. You don't know those nuances. It's extremely easy to grate your tires since it's the older pavement, not the new pavement that they are going to have in 2024. This is old pavement, 1980 styles technology for this, based on this being the 1987 version of the circuit. And 1980s roads, very different in terms of smoothness compared to 2024 tarmac.
No, I definitely think you're right. I think that there's a lot of opportunity to burn those tires up. As we see, I do believe that's Chad McGinley trying to get by Michael Walker. That is, of course, fourth place on track. McGinley is not on the lead lap yet, but he is still running down Bernard Person. It's going to take quite a bit of time to get up there to unlap himself. But no, you're exactly right. I think, this, even if I think that this place was a newer track, I think it still would have a pretty high potential of burning your equipment up, just considering very wide racetrack in the corner. So you can really send it in and, overdrive. I think there's a lot of potential for that.
Next up in line to be lapped, several cars, in fact. George Dibble on the lead lap, at least, already falling down as May shook again. And Dibble yields the spot with the Olay move. Now that leaves just 11 on the lead lap.
Yeah, we're going to have much less than that on the lead lap here not too long from now. As, of course, you see Person now going to be sniffing out William Gay, who's about I do believe, not too far out in front of Bernard Person right now. You can see even they're on the same straightaway. And Person last time by was he's hitting 19.7s fairly regularly, consistency. This is probably the best long run performance I'd say we've seen from Person, because out of everybody that took tires that last time, he is still the fastest, and that's saying something. So I feel like there's been a valuable lesson possibly learned, or if this is just a track that maybe Person's is good at.
Again, I think it comes down to tires, but
well, what I'm trying to say is there's other drivers that are on the same amount of tire as he is, and he's faster than them. So I think that might have.
Good point. Michael Walker, mind you, is still 2/10 off him, although he is the second quickest of those on the fresh tire band. Although Spear and Wrecker are also quick in picking up tempo.
This is interesting, looking on board in the cockpit to see exactly what Person's doing with the wheel. Not too crazy of input. So there goes somebody sideways in front of the leader. That is the 19 of Todd Gilly. Yellow flag.
Caution is out for the second time. And there's that. Oh, don't back up.
Whoa.
The boss man, Todd Gilly, going around on the front straight away. And this is not what McGinley wanted to see. He is not in the lucky dog spot. This hurts a few drivers.
Yeah, I think Gilly's going to live to fight another day in this. I mean, he didn't hit the wall very hard. It was kind of a really low-speed hit. Looks like he just lost it on exit, getting back to the gas. I think he had probably a little bit too much wheel into it whenever he got back to the gas. That's one thing you can't do with this track. Oh, that was so close. I don't know. Come on, Todd. Show some on-track awareness. You got to be careful.
Good under caution already about a third of the way through the action. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back on Grid Vision after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Green flag's out.
Welcome back to racing in North Wilkesboro as we get back on our way with 150 laps to go. Bernard Person and William Gay up at the front. Here's an interesting thing, though. Half the field pit before the front half of the field was able to make it in. So that's why this running order is now shuffled because of North Wilkesboro things. Basically, the leader didn't catch up to the pace car, but the pit road opened for about fifth on back. Crash for Kwiatkowski. No caution. So that means big dividends for a couple drivers like Michael Walker and William Gay.
Yeah, and Greg Ratliff, I think, did he just come to pit road? Ratliff is on pit road. Greg Ratliff.
He's got a black flag. He's got a black flag.
Wouldn't be surprised if this is a passing under yellow or something like that. Probably because of that, all of that chaos under that yellow flag. Greg Ratliff was pole sitter, one of the fastest cars, if not the fastest in this race. Just his race is probably over as a result of that. You get a black flag at a track like this, you're lucky if you get back on the lead lap.
Alrighty, lap traffic for the leaders, but just as we get things going here amidst this run, one thing to note, for many years, for those who didn't know, there was one employee left at the racetrack since 1996 up until its revival a couple years ago. His name was Paul Call. Employee with the circuit since 1963 and was considered the heartbeat of North Wilkesboro Speedway and made sure to maintain the grounds all throughout the days, months, and years until its return in the 2020s to NASCAR schedules. Unfortunately, according to Save the Speedway, he has passed away as of tonight. More than 60 years working at this facility, began working for the original ownership under Enrock Stanley, just 16 years old when he first joined the group. And in turn, he was the only employee taking care of a track he lived next to, telling the stories, allowing the fans in to experience the circuit during it several times when it was closed, and keeping said facility safe. According to Save the Speedway, he never lost faith NASCAR would return and the Speedway would reopen, and it did so with the 2023 All-Star race right outside his front door as he watched the Speedway reborn. Paul was a friend, and his stories will be missed, according to Save the Speedway and North Wilkesboro Speedway. Once again, Paul Call, the official caretaker of the facility, passes away today.
Yeah, that's definitely heartbreaking, to say the least. But glad that he got to see his dream kind of come to fruition. That is a bittersweet thing, at least. But at least he got to see that.
Yeah, especially with a lot of the efforts to revitalize the track. And at one point, for some, it was considered a playground. The connections people talked about just before the All-Star race in its return. It takes a lot of effort when you think about it to maintain a racetrack, it's let alone on your own. You're talking about making sure the lawn stays in full condition, making sure things don't decay, being able to work on things. Keep in mind, he did everything to make sure the track stayed maintained before things closed up here.
Yeah. One-man job. That's a lot for one man as we see a battle going on the racetrack. Of course, William Gay trying to hold off Michael Walker. Walker getting incredibly close to the back bumper of the 44, as well as Buckshot Ripka has been incredibly fast. He's all over these two side by side now for second place.
Now the racing action continuing on indeed. And a slide for Gay. Nearly hits the door. Here comes Ripka off the inside. Spear and Wrecker want to go through two.
Yeah, a lot of times with this kind of a racetrack, you get passed by one, you're gonna have a long line of other drivers ready to go as well, as Gay is gonna possibly fall outside of the top 5 as a result. But Bernard Person gone. Where did he go? I mean, he has left the building, ladies and gentlemen. Over 2.5 seconds right now he has over Michael Walker. Last time by, he was, or the time before that, I should say, he was about a half a second quicker than Walker. But I think Walker, of course, was in the midst of battling with traffic.
And already that just shows some of the difference once the consistency comes into play and some of the experience, as Schrader nearly gave him the experience of spinning out of turn 4. Up at the front, though. Here comes the move for the lead. Ripka looking for second, rather. Bernard Person, by the way, is checked out by 3 seconds. That's how quickly he checked out again, and we haven't even ran 20 laps.
I'm telling you, he's one of the best cars, if not the best out here tonight. I mean, he's showing long-run pace and short-run pace that we have not seen from him, I don't believe, as we see if Schrader really trying to battle hard with William Gay. Schrader is very, very aggressively trying to get by the 44 machine as George Dibble looks on. He's got the best seat in the house for this battle.
Dibble already showing improvement from where he's running before the caution as well. Greg Ratliff, of course, having some troubles. Darren Bruce stuck a lap down, yes. Chad McGinley amongst those on the lead lap, but in a tough spot because of the time of the caution. Able to capitalize quickly. Same for Schrader, who we've seen do well at these short tracks when the car doesn't get any dents on it. Same for Spear, who did really well at the paperclip last time at a short track.
Yeah, I mean, Spear, of course, has been incredibly consistent. Top 5, top 5, top 5. I mean, he's got a podium, I do believe. He's up in 4th right now. Can he keep the streak going of top 5s? I mean, he's been putting together quite a bit here lately. And, 3rd in the points, that's nothing to sneeze at all. Of course, he is trying to fight off Adam Wrecker. Wrecker on the verge of possibly working his way up into contention. He's been pretty good here today. I think this is one of his best races in that Columbia 11 machine.
He's been also very solid at tracks like this when we've seen him at Martinsville. Also had some good flashes at Iowa as well. By the way, that Spear streak you were talking about, 3 straight top 5s, 4 of the past 5 races in the top 5. Hasn't finished outside the top 10 since Darlington when he DNF'd after 84 laps there at the Lady in Black. Almost halfway through, by the way. And Person, his best race of the year. Now he's on equal footing, clean air. The times are starting to fall back a bit.
Yeah.
But he still is not allowing the interval to go down even with the lap times going the way of Ripka the past 2 laps.
Yeah, that was kind of curious. I was noticing that same thing. You know, he had a 19.6. Of course, he has. Oh, yellow
Caution.
flag is out.
It's front straightaway. It's Mark Schrader. And he lost it out of turn 4. Caution flag is out once again.
He takes a toe, so that's going to be a costly incident there for him. And I think this is probably going to look a lot like what we've seen already. Out of turn 4, just getting loose, getting back to the gas. It's so easy to do this.
Mandatory repairs 2. He blows the motor there. And looks like the steering. Let's take a look.
Yeah, just you see it right there. I think it's got something to do with the banking change coming out of turn 4. We've seen it a lot. It's almost like how to not as intense of a banking change as you see it like a track like Dover, but kind of like that to where the car unsettles a little bit coming off the corner, and when you're on the gas at just the wrong time and you maybe have a little bit too much wheel in it, it just kicks the car sideways, and that's exactly what we've been seeing from a lot of different drivers tonight.
More pit stops. Gay and Kulkowski staying out of the racetrack. Interesting for the Sevens case since they spun this stint. But first out, Kiwi enough, is Ripka.
Well, there goes Kulkowski. He's coming down pit road now.
And now it's Ripka indeed, now the race leader. And here's a crazy thing for Ripka. His most laps led in a while was Iowa. Outside of that, he struggled to get in the lead since Charlotte, more than a month. He's starting to get led laps now once we get to the short track swing, it looks like.
Yeah, this has the potential to be his best race. He hasn't won in quite a bit of time. Of course, the first couple races we saw, I think it was, I can't remember the name, first 2 races of the season, we saw a driver come in and just kind of whoop everybody for 2 races in a row. Then it looked like Ripko's like, okay, now I'm the top dog again. Then all of a sudden, Thomas Wolfe starts qualifying and beating everybody. So, Ripka has not been able to really catch a break when it comes to actually getting to victory lane. This could be his best opportunity for that right now because Wolfe is 103 laps down. This hasn't helped out Greg Ratliff either. He was probably hoping to get some sort of lucky dog. Not quite able to get it, though.
Yeah, if anything, Darren Bruce believe was the lucky dog this time around. Blau is next in line, followed by where'd Person go? Person's parked it.
Question. 2 laps down. What has happened? Bernard Person manually disconnected. What? He had a chance to win this race. He has had the speed to win this race. Something has had to have gone wrong. Possibly a black flag or something that we don't know about.
I don't get it. He was having dominant speed, and now it's Ripka's race up front. Oh, by the way, somebody needs to tell Thomas Wolfe his car is ready to return to the racetrack because he's got spots in line. Ripka, he's battling for the lead with Michael Walker for the restart.
Yeah, green flag is back out as everything has been turned on its head here tonight. Michael Walker possibly could get his best finish here this season as here comes Jason Spear up the inside as we complete yet another lap here under green.
Already past the halfway mark, by the way, officially under that caution period. Spear is looking for second. Not able to get the full rotation. Walker the second holds him off on the high side. All lined up once again. That caution is a big timing, though, when it comes to the 31. Chad McGinley, who went very off-cycle with a pit strategy, is back on the lead lap.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he's going to be able to do with this opportunity. Of course, has worked his way now up to 7th place. He's trying to chase down Costin backs back out.
William Gay has several body parts come apart. Adam Kwiatkowski, Daniel Blau, and Darren Bruce in the vicinity of this contact. Bruce avoiding most, if any, contact. But the 4 E4 and the 7 definitely hit for the yellow.
Oh, and that I really would put that on Kulikowski. Just got loose coming out of the corner and coming out of 2, I do believe, and came down into William Gay. Nothing really William could have done here to avoid this. As you can see right here, Kulikowski was being very aggressive. Just got loose on the exit. Came down into Gay, and unfortunately, Gay paid the ultimate price there. I mean, look at how much damage that 44 has.
Yeah. For obvious reasons, mandatory damage on that car.
Yeah, just unfortunate incident there for the 44. And wow, look at Blau. Blau barely missed that.
Well, we've had trouble under caution. Greg Ratliff, he spun himself and spun Todd Gilly.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Watch this. Gasses it up. Lights up the tires. Right into Todd Gilly.
Oh, my word. And Todd hits the wall. Wow. I mean, I know for a fact that was not on purpose. But that was a very interesting crash.
That was because Greg was the lucky dog. I'll be honest, I'm shocked he still got it because he hit a car.
Yeah, me too.
Looks like the message got to Thomas Wolf, by the way, because he's back in the car.
I think Wolf sees all these drivers that are out, and he's starts to he's licking his lips, he's salivating. He knows he can get some positions here. This is what a champion does right here. A champion contender sees the opportunity to get some points, and there's some points on the line right now, Justin.
So again, Ripka in max point situation at least as the winner. And when it comes to fastest laps for reference, he's also got that too. So that's going to be very likely possible. The only point not his way is the pole. Greg Ratliff, mind you, has that. And his Munstall's already coming in for service in the pit lane. But outside of that, what do you expect here for these closing half laps of this race? Because Ripka's pretty much proven he's been the first, if not second, quickest car all race. What's it going to take to make a move here?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to have anything for him. I'm pretty sure. I feel like he's got control now. And he's probably gonna maintain. Ripka's been in this position before. He's not a stranger to leading races. So we'll see if he's going to be able to hold it together. Of course, he was last season's champion. So I think he could hold himself under pressure here.
Just about ready for the restart again. Ripka, Walker the second, Spear, Recker, Dibble, Tony Ratliff, McGinley, Bruce, Greg Ratliff on the lead lap. We're back away.
Yeah, good restart there from Michael Walker. Really able to keep track of Buckshot, and looks like he's going to possibly stay side by side. No, he is not going to, but what a race for Michael Walker. We talked about the fastest lap being Buckshot Ripka. Well, the second fastest lap is Michael Walker, 18.978. These two drivers up front are the only drivers that have hit a sub 19-second lap in this race.
Yeah, some of these drivers are really scooting around the circuit. Single file up in the front and a lock up McGinley. That's in the middle of the pack. You see in the backdrop how Tony Ratliff's up the track. That nearly caused a stack up for about 6 on back.
And here comes Greg Ratliff. Of course, he's going to see if he could possibly work his way back up front. He was one of the only other drivers, I think, that could challenge Buckshot Ripka. But, of course, Ripka, you can see Greg Ratliff very close to the back end of McGinley. I think both of these drivers kind of being held up in a way by Tony Ratliff. But Jason Spear now side by side with Michael Walker for second place. Looks like I think Jason's got it. Possibly he's up on that top side. We'll see if he gets to run off of turn 4.
Oh, trouble. Tony Ratliff into the wall. Another spin, another caution. And the cautions are breeding cautions. I think this might fall in line.
So.
Yeah, this might fall towards our most cautions. 10 is the season high.
Yeah, and it's just that same spot, too. I mean, every single time we've seen some sort of caution, it has been out of turn 4. It's got to be something to do with the banking, or possibly we talked about that elevation. Is that going downhill?
Yes, it is.
And yeah, that could be unsettling the car.
All it takes is going to full throttle there, and bye-bye race car. Front clip is bye-bye on Tony Ratliff for the most part. And here come more pit stops. Ripka and several more coming in. We ran about 18 laps there. And at this point, I think this gets them to the end. Yes.
It's close. I mean, I was told that the fuel window was about 100 to 110. I think this gets them there. I definitely think it does. Especially if we get another caution, that makes it, I think, definitely good to go. But yeah, this could be. I think if we do get another caution, this won't be the last pit stop. Just considering tires have been so instrumental. I don't think you really want to run 100 laps on a set of tires. But if you have to, you're not going to pit. If you can help it, you're not. Because I mean, it wouldn't make sense considering you'd lose at least a lap or two.
Here's a look at the pit differential. Some drivers got to be running out of tire sets here, thinking about big picture for tire sets, because we're talking about drivers like Ripka, who already come in 3 times. Maybe 2 tire sets left in the pits for many of the drivers. Some of them might be out already.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think anybody's out, but some are close. I could say some are probably close. Like maybe a Darren Bruce. I don't know. He's been in 5 times. I don't think he's taking tires every single time. I would assume most drivers probably have 2 sets left.
And keep in mind the fuel mark you mentioned up to 110. McGinley just came in to top off, so even that may be not certain. You can save some gas here. It is a short track. That mileage can vary massively here compared to some of the other tracks where it's maybe a couple laps to save. But if you can be the fastest at the end, that could be all it takes.
Michael Walker getting, I think, some of his first laps led in this series. So very awesome to see that 22 find the success. He's been very quick. I think he possibly has a chance at the top 3 here tonight. Maybe, if things fall his way, he could even get a win. George Dibbles up on the podium right now. How about that? Love to see that Bill Elliott paint scheme doing well here tonight.
All 3 of the front runners, though, have not taken tires during this caution period. Ripka's the first of those on fresh rubber, followed by Spear, and Greg Ratliff is back in the ballgame. Green, green, green. Oh, a slow start this time. Walker the second, and Wrecker stay side by side. Wrecker sends it. A peek from the middle. Ripka nowhere to go.
Yeah, what a start for Wrecker. He went really, really high, and I was like, oh, this is a mistake, but he was able to get such a run down the backstretch that it has gotten him to lead. There he is, Adam Wrecker, up in the lead for the first time here tonight. Side by side goes Ripka. Ripka trying to reclaim what was taken from him.
He's looking high side. Walker the second wraps around the bottom berm. And there goes the speed down the hill. Ripka makes the pass up to second. Next up is Adam Wrecker for the lead.
This is curious. I think as we've gone on, that middle to top groove has kind of come alive. Maybe the rubber's starting to get laid down, but we're starting to see guys be able to make some speed there as we see some big wiggles here. I do believe Greg Ratliff now go to the inside of Michael Walker. Battle for third's underway. Greg Ratliff trying to work his way back onto the podium once again.
Yeah, can he get up there is the major question. We've seen how quick he was as the leader. Able to zip by Michael Walker the second on the bottom. Now the fight's on for the lead. Wrecker on old tires and slipping and sliding up in front. Ripka's going for the point. Inside. Up on the wall goes Wrecker. And Ripka with plenty of space. Wraps it. Takes it. He's now the race leader.
He's going to try to set sail from here. And he's got less than now 100 laps to go. So let's see what Buckshot Ripka can do here in this 52. Of course, he is the reigning champion. Of course, he's been gathering a lot of points over this season, but hasn't looked, I'd say, in a championship level, really performance. But I think tonight he's definitely got it. I think that I'm just seeing that he is putting together some fantastic races. We have a lot of races that are kind of like this that are coming up as the season progresses. So I think the 52 loving what's going on here, and he probably has some new life as well in him, considering what happened with Wolf.
Right now, things seem to be falling towards his direction right now to be able to hold things off. Still a ways to go in the championship fight. Of note, Greg Ratliff is in the wall.
Wow.
He slides up. Running third, Jason Spear keeping him close and on guard. Closes up as McGinley joins the fray.
Yeah, that's definitely curious to see that 5 machine struggling like that. It just seems like something is not handling quite right on that machine. The 83 last time by, definitely faster, as well as Chad McGinley. Back up into the top 5. This is definitely getting more and more interesting as we go on.
And again, you have to be wondering about what's going to the mind here because he is someone we've seen good pace from. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him inside the top 3 by the end of this one with how things are shaping up. Just again, nowhere to go. He is showing the nose. Can't just lick the stamp and send it into the quarter panel, though.
Well, yeah, I think he doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. Who can blame him? I mean, this is his first race in this series. He doesn't know these guys. You know, Chad definitely a fantastic racer, but you know he doesn't want to turn any guys. That's for sure. I could make a joke about you know another race, but I'm not going to. I was gonna say I'm getting urged and jeered and cheered for but from the producer. I was getting ready to say he's not going to turn these guys, but he'll turn his teammate.
Oh my goodness, here we go again with that. I think he's already heard a lot about that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I said I wasn't going to say it, but the producer, you know, Austin just had to hear it.
Anyhow, here, blame the producer. Under 90 laps to go in this race. Wrecker is falling back. He's losing a 10th per lap now to Ripka on the older tires. Now the pressure's absolutely on, though, with how things are playing out.
Yep, here comes Greg Ratliff to the inside. He's going to see if he could possibly take away second place. Still a big gap, though, for him to run down. Buckshot Ripka looks like he's going to make the pass fairly easily on Greg Ratliff, but here comes Jason Spear to the inside here. I think we've got a new subscriber, May Shook. Thanks for subscribing.
Up on the top, indeed. And you mentioned Love and Animosity. Grid Vision, of course, a growing group. Be sure to tune in throughout the races, especially the busy month of December. Expected more information on how to join the Grid Vision family in terms of your broadcasting for your racing series. Be sure to contact Grid Vision today for more information. Jason Spear is looking to wrap the bottom side of the racetrack. Still playing the defense. McGinley, he's now showing the nose, and Wrecker has made the message clear. You show the nose and get to the quarter panel. As soon as I get the spotter call, I'll stay high side the whole entire time until you pass me.
Yeah, you know, you love to hear that. You know, Adam Wrecker not trying to be a wrecker. You know, good on him. I mean, he's been a clean driver all season long. Looks like Chad's going to see if he could possibly get by him, and I think he'll be successful in doing that. Of course, Buckshot Ripka driving away. Now almost 2 seconds. Now is 2 seconds to leave on Greg Ratliff. As Lance Ripka in the best position to win a race. Still a long way to go, though. A lot could still go wrong, but of course, there have been less variables, I'd say, now on the racetrack for things to go wrong, considering we only have, I do believe, 9 drivers on the lead lap.
Keeping an eye on Dibble and company. He's falling back to 9th here. Darren Bruce actually able to pass him by in the last while or so. Just tail in the lead lap. And Dibble going to take a while before he gets reeled in by this 52, at least 20, 30 laps with the pace things shaping up here. Already half a track the distance. 8 seconds the difference, first to 9th currently.
Yeah, definitely big gap. I mean, this is a skill-based racetrack. I mean, not to say that, you know, it's just it takes a certain set of skills. I mean, you have to really be able to gradually get back on the gas. There's a lot of things that you could do wrong on this racetrack. And I think that we're seeing the best separated from the rest here tonight. I mean, Buckshot Ripka, of course, being one of the best. But last time by, though, Greg Ratliff, a little bit quicker, actually a 10th faster, which is pretty big. Than Buckshot. Can he continue to push that and continue to build that momentum. Also, Jason Spear was faster than the leader last time by as well.
Slowly, full on pace being settled in. Fall off with the pace picking up on the hot laps, about 0.6 of a second compared to the best laps these drivers have turned. Keep in mind, you see the difference. Ripka still the quicker of the two. Lap after lap, here's the reset. The refresh, again, back-to-back laps. That's gained about 1/10.5 already. I think at this point,
consistency.
It's also about track position now.
No, yeah, 100%. Of course, you know, we'll see Ratliff be able to knock off a faster lap than Ripka sometimes, but it's all going to be about consistency and, like you said, track position. I mean, at some point, if Ripka wants to win this race, if he can get to the first, he's got to get to the back bumper of Buckshot, and Buckshot's in another zip code right now. So that's what it's going to be about. But of course, here comes Buckshot up to some lap traffic. Adam Kulikowski to put him a second lap down. It looks like I think Adam's going to move out of the way. Fairly harmless.
Yeah, no issues that time. Quick commenting on the radio on that as well. Kulikowski on the quick move. McGinley also starting to fall back a bit. Keep in mind, he is for sure likely going to be okay on the gas. It doesn't look like anybody's in full fuel save mode, if anything, with how things are going here. Because, well, the longest run of the race, really, for anyone on a full tank or tire set has been 98 laps because of tons of cautions. Our longest run's been about 60, 70 laps. Trends say somebody will spin eventually. Let's take a commercial break before that gets to that mark. You're watching Grid Vision. It's Ripka leading over Ratliff, Spear, McGinley, and Wrecker. Here in RGR action, the chase for the Chicago Glass Cup.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Grid Vision for more coverage of RGR, the chase for the Chicago Glass Cup. Justin Prince, Brian Brett, Austin John Bishar producing. So work our way towards the run to the finish. It's Ripka leading over Greg Ratliff by almost make it 2.5 seconds even now, in fact. Jason Spear, Chad McGinley, Adam Wrecker in the top 5. Most of the field in position to likely get to the end on gas, but the situation currently, a couple drivers are close likely for the gas. Those include drivers like Wrecker, who did not pit under the caution. George Dibble also in a case where a caution likely needed to make sure they're good to go to make it on gas. Those drivers are running as mentioned, 5th, and as well for Dibble, 8th, respectively. In turn here tonight, for the most part, when we had long green flag runs like this one, things get spaced out, things stay calm. When we have restarts, simply enough, restarts make everyone go crazy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's definitely a pure fact. But one thing as well is that we get these long runs, the likelihood of a spin also goes up. And we've seen it on that 40-plus lap run that a lot of these guys have really hurt tires. And, just one little mistake on getting back to the gas could cause, someone to spin out. I do want to update. We were just looking at Thomas Wolf here. He has moved up to 17th. He got by Zendel Collins. Of course, next up, he should be able to get by Mays Shook for 16th. Not sure if he's going to be able to get by Schrader. I think Schrader is still racing. Nope,
No,
he
he's
is
not.
still on the track. He's not on the track. I saw he's still in the car, but he's not driving it.
I think at this point, it's more so, okay, I'm just going to see how the rest of the race plays out. I want to see who wins.
Best seat in the house. Jason Spear, though, catching up to Greg Ratliff. Jason has been consistently faster than Greg. As we see a green flag stop, here comes McGinley to pick road. This is interesting.
I don't understand this.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, maybe our fuel calculator was
He's
off.
out. He's out of the car.
Oh, no. So this is just not comfortable with it, possibly.
I know the preferences to the truck, but he was in line for a top 5 on debut, likely top 4 at minimum, and apparently out of the car.
That's probably what it is. Our producer just alluded to the fact that I was talking smack about him wrecking his teammate. He's probably heard that and got very upset, and he's coming to my house right now, possibly.
Okay. I hope you're okay.
Oh,
Jason,
I'll be fine.
Tony Ratliff, by the way, despite slamming the front nose into the wall earlier, is now in line for the top 5.
Yeah, that definitely helped him out quite a bit. And he's had a successful race here. I mean, just very consistent. I mean, he has not made too many mistakes. And as well, we had, some major issues as well from Todd Gilly early. He's back up into the top 10 as a result of Chad McGinley exiting the show. Well, it's Darren Bruce. I mean, he first race in this series. He's in 8th. I mean, not a bad day. Pretty respectable.
Yeah. I know this is normally not his preference of car, but hey, when he finds the right comfortability, he's usually pretty solid. That's right in front of the race leader, by the way. He is in risk or running to be lapped again. George Dibble, the same thing. However, I will say some of these drivers like Bruce are starting to really lose the rear tires, it looks like. You go too deep, you can likely spin out.
Yeah, I think that's the main difference with this car than the truck. I mean, the truck doesn't have as much power as this, so that's probably something that he's having to get used to. Of course, speaking on Darren Bruce's, I do believe we're looking on board. I think this is Jason Spear, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, that's actually Buckshot. I'm seeing the blue, and I thought Jason Spear, but we're looking at Buckshot Ripka, of course, catching up to the rear of, I do believe, Darren Bruce, right ahead of him. You can see Bruce is definitely. I think he's overdriving a little bit. Easy to do in this race car.
It almost looks like he's hitting it from the truck marks.
Very well could be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing in 3 and 4. He's trying to run it like it's the truck for the braking marks, and that's the mistake. Yeah, he's not lifting.
The truck, you could probably send it in a lot further than you can in this car.
Yeah, he's going at the Holly Farm signs. I thought, based on the trends, though, you have to pull that at least 2 markers back.
So, yeah, I mean, I would have thought that would have been the best brake marker, the Holly Farm sign. That's what I've used it, and but I've never really driven this race car. I mean, this is a Xfinity car. Not my favorite car, but it's definitely been fun to watch here in this series. As we're now, I do believe, coming to 50 laps to go.
Running on time on the clock for anyone else to try and make some moves here. Spear is still keeping up the pressure on the 5.
Yeah, he definitely has been doing that. I mean, what a performance from Jason Spear. I mean, he has just been taking care of business. And I guarantee you Jason's probably a little bit upset with his teammate, Bernard Person. Like, what? Why did you leave? You had a chance to even possibly win this race, but Jason's like, okay, I'll pick it. I'll pick myself. I'll pick it up. I'll take care of the, I'll quarterback this thing. Looks like he's starting to struggle, though, a little bit.
Also, heard of one conversation, couldn't understand in the ear, heard trying to pass him, not having problems. Wolf has made some pass, by the way, on some of those drivers. He is already passed by to 16th. Right now, if things stay green, might get to 13th or 12th. Well, they're the same lap, so 12. Again, the worst possible combination is honestly Ripke winning the race for his chance for the championship. Because that basically means he'd need to win 3 straight again.
Yeah, no, that definitely wouldn't be good. But I gotta say, I respect Wolf for not giving up. I mean, easily you go 100 laps down, you're like, I'm just not even gonna bother. But no, this guy, that's why I think he's championship level competitor. I feel like he came out here ready to do what he had to do, even if this is not fun. When you're 100 laps down, it's not fun. But he's still out here doing it. He's doing what he can to try to stop the bleeding. So you got to have a lot of respect for a driver like that. It doesn't have that, he doesn't have a give up type of attitude. And if it comes down to the end of the season and it was just by a couple points that he was able to possibly, tussle with Ripke for a championship, this will be why right here.
He might just 6 on the lead lap at this point. Michael Walker is the last on the lead lap. He's the car hanging around behind him. Solid return back to competition, we'll say, for the 22 machine. His luck up and down in some of the starts, yes, but today, the luck is up. What can you say? He's good at short tracks.
No, he definitely has been really, really fast. Talked about him, having, I think, the second fastest lap of the race. This is his best performance, I'd say. Of course, he's up to 6. He has been as high as the podium. But I think this has been one of his best. I really feel like he's at home at a track like this. So I expect to see him possibly in a podium position in the future. Maybe even in this one if we see something else happen. Of course, 40 laps to go. 40 laps is a long time for something to go wrong.
Yeah, this is around the point where some drivers start to have troubles keeping it straight with the tire wear in the rears. If you've been sending it too deep. Here's a look at the stints. Mind you, 68 laps on the stint for most of the field. Michael Walker and George Dibble are 85 laps in. Outside of that, Thomas Wolff, he technically also has to come in one more time because he's also at 78 laps. So that takes away 2 laps on his chances to rally back.
Yeah, that's another point for Walker. You were just talking about him having a really great race, so he's gonna possibly have to pit again here if something doesn't happen. But the rest of the drivers, of course, I do believe are good to go. Buckshot Ripke, Greg Ratliff, Jason Spear, Wrecker. I do believe he is on older equipment here. But you can even see Ripke starting to struggle a little bit. Everybody is starting to get to that 20 lap, or should I say 20-second mark that we've seen earlier in the race. So it's struggle bus time.
Yeah. It's a matter of how many people are going to be on the bus by the end of this race. With the way things are shaping up is the question. Right now. Well, the answer is half the field is on the bus.
This has got to be a very, very grueling physical race. I know this probably doesn't equate with. I know we had a major series race The Holly Farms, I do believe 400. I think that was a 400 lamp race.
Yep.
At this race, of course, a little bit shorter, but still, this is and especially this car. The Xfinity car is a very weighty machine that does not like to respond to inputs as much. So you have to kind of be physical with it. So, and your brake, I mean, I guarantee you these guys are feeling pretty wore out probably after this event, and probably ready for it to be over. I mean, of course, coming up, I do believe closer and closer to 30 to go.
I mean, look on the bright side. After the race, you can, if you've been on the struggle bus, take the bus and go to the Wilkes Art Gallery Mural Project and check out the art gallery.
That sounds relaxing.
Hey, that's a real thing, for those curious. That's been open since 1962. After all, the town in North Wilkesboro, just 4,000 plus strong. And again, you hear all the comments about how big they considered NASCAR as part of the community because they considered it as one of the birthplaces of stock car racing. Technically, it was also the birthplace of Lowe's Home Improvement.
Wow, really?
Yes.
That's definitely interesting. That's crazy. So 4,000 people? I didn't realize that. That's a very small town, and it becomes a very highly populated town whenever NASCAR comes to town. So, and that a lot of times, I mean, I live in Darlington County, so I live right down the road from the Darlington racetrack, and our area is very rural. Very, not a lot of people live around here. Not a whole lot of big business around here. But whenever NASCAR comes to town, it brings and generates millions of dollars. So, that has got to be so great for that community to have all that money kind of being funneled back into their area.
You can say that for a lot of areas where you have that sense of feel. Yes, you have a lot of talk about the trends towards major markets, but you always have that local fan base where that's hard to cut off. It's hard to say to an entire community that's had a racetrack for 50, 60 years, oh, hey, we're no longer going here because you don't have 500,000 people. Congratulations. Here's your empty plot of land.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Speaking from experience, I mean, if Darlington just suddenly went from, just didn't exist anymore, I know a lot of people around here will be very heartbroken about that. Because, I mean, a lot of people are proud to live near a racetrack like that, and they feel like it makes our area unique and special. And I guarantee you the North Wilkesboro crowd feels the exact same way.
Coming to 25 laps to go. Wrecker is still holding on to fourth. Ratliff still to fifth. Dibble has lost the lap. And the confirmation on the reason for Chad McGinley not finishing the race is in. He forgot to eat.
What? Well, that's something you got to do. You have to eat to live. I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't forget to breathe.
So, the comment is, and I quote, I read when the race was, so I didn't eat before, and dinner was smelling too good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I forget to eat a lot. I'm not going to lie. I've forgotten to eat sometimes. But if you don't eat, you don't drive good. I'll just say that.
I wonder what he would look like if he had eaten tonight. That would have been we could have seen a different McGinley.
Yeah. That's a way to think about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard of some people perform better when they're hungry, though. I don't know. I mean, I've always kind of felt like, especially when it was coming to schoolwork, like back in college and in high school as well, like, you don't eat before a big test. It seems like you're able to focus a little better. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard of being hungry being a performance booster. If anything, it's a performance decliner.
Well, I mean, eating makes you lethargic.
Well, eating also is fuel.
That's true.
And if you get to the point where you're running out of gas, which is a possibility for some of the drivers, by the way,
yeah,
you can't really go.
That's definitely true. Yeah, definitely true. So we could see Michael Walker. He's a big candidate for running out of gas. Of course, Adam Wrecker. I do believe so. Yeah, we could end up having to still see some green flag stops as it's getting more and more likely that we are going to go green to the end here. And It's curious to see, will this continue, or do we see a late race caution? 20 laps to go now.
Expecting the front three to be able to make it. Wrecker and Walker the second need to come in with the next 5 laps based on the previous estimates. So with how this could shape up, we're talking about maybe 4 on the lead lap.
And this has been just like a normal North Wilkesboro race, a race of survival, a race of attrition. This is historic NASCAR, and I love every bit of it. So glad to see this track back in competition in real life, and even if it wasn't, I'm just so glad that we have it here on the sim, and thankful of the work that Dale Jr. did, going out there with the Weed Eaters, with some friends. And I'm sure, the heart of this racetrack was probably there helping him.
Based on the rumblings, it's probably not going to be the last time either. But with 16 to go, here comes Tony. And Adam Wrecker loses the spot. Here comes Michael Walker the second as well. He's caught up to the 11. Wow, Walker the second has reeled this in pretty quickly.
Yeah, and of course, all three of Adam Wrecker and Michael Walker and George Dibble, 108 laps now in their stint. So they are definitely pushing it. Ooh, Walker getting close to that wall right there. Let's see. Do they have? Well, I just don't think they can make it any. I'm surprised they made it this far. But Buckshot Ripka out to over 4 seconds right now over Greg Ratliff. Buckshot in the best position right now to win a race and possibly put himself at the in an advantage, a position of advantage, I should say, for the championship.
There's the move for Michael Walker the second. And again, I'm not surprised they haven't peeled in yet. At this point, you're trying to hope there's a caution. You're doing the caution dance right now in the race seat. If you want any shot, you need the caution.
What does that look like? The caution dance.
The
like
rain
dance, yeah.
The rain dance, but somehow while holding the wheel. And I don't know. Doing the wiggle? Not the back end wiggle, but I mean like the actual wiggle in the seat. I don't know.
So if you dance too much in the seat, you might bring a caution out. Like,
I'm trying to say that without saying that. Okay? We're coming up to 10 to go. Caution! It's on to cue.
Oh my goodness. Adam Kulikowski.
Adam Kulikowski, meatball flag, apparently has technical issues at the time he spun it. That discombobulates him. He spins it in the wall again. And this time he loses the bumper. And now this changes a lot.
Yeah, no, this changes. This is exactly what Michael Walker and Adam Wrecker wanted. As here comes Ripka. Ripka's coming to pit road. Of course, probably for tires, I would assume. But Kulikowski loses it exactly where everyone else has lost it, out of 4. I think that has been the cause of every single caution tonight, out of 4.
Many of them, you could say.
Yeah, might not every single, but almost all of them.
This saves Walker the second and Wrecker. So they come in for the scheduled, or rather, now caution helping scheduled stop. Ripka races out and picks the win out of the pit road. Second out of the race. Inconclusive until they settle it out. Of note, Dibble is back on the lead lap as a result of the Lucky Dog spot.
Yeah, good on him. I think Greg Ratliff was able to beat Jason Spear off on pit road. So I think he's going to... Let's see what he could do. I mean, Rivka was out to a 4-second lead. I mean, this is... We're going to get to see short run pace at its finest here. If only Bernard Person was still in the race.
Yeah, he might have had a strong shot. Thomas Wolf, mind you, has gotten up to 12th this time by. So that's the highest the 91 can get back on his recovery drive. You see him in the mixture of cars out. McGinley, He can't lose any more spots. He's in 11th.
Good on him.
It comes down to a late race restart. We're looking at maybe a 5-lap shootout here. So, what do you do with 5 laps to decide it? Your front 2 have been some of your quickest all night.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. Ripka, I think he's in pretty well control of this race. I think that the only thing that probably could unseat him from this lead is if somebody hits him in his rear end, or if he just kind of blows the corner. I mean, it could happen. I mean, he could, make a mistake and maybe miss his mark a little bit and sailing into the corner a little too hard. I mean, cold tires can be sometimes tricky. I mean, this is definitely, it's in his hands. The only person I think that can mess this up is probably going to be Ripka. As the pace car lights are out, time to get it going. We're going to see who has the fate of the race, who's going to take home the trophy here at North Wilkesboro.
Will it be Ripka? Will it be Greg Ratliff? Remember, Greg Ratliff led the first 47 laps. Ripka's led 109 tonight. Pace cars out, green flags off. We're underway once again with 5 laps to go from North Carolina.
What a start from Buckshot and Ripka. He was able to get going really well there. He clears for first. But here comes Greg Ratliff. He tries to get to the bottom of the 52, not quite able to get there. I think he's going to have his hands full with the 83 of Jason Spear.
Able to shrug him off, though, for second. 4 to go. He needs a slide from Ripka to be able to get up to that bumper and needs to do it fast.
I don't think he's going to get it. I think Ripka's been almost perfect here this entire race. Has not put a tire wrong. So, yeah, Ratliff's going to have to summon some sort of speed that he has not shown here tonight.
Down to about 2.5 laps to go. It's still about a quarter of a car length, the difference. Not able to reel it in. It's slowly dropping down the straights. Ripka's taking the corners better.
Yeah, I think Ripka, he knew that, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's got this track fairly nailed down. He's led enough laps. This is just muscle memory from here as he takes, I do believe, the white flag at North Wilkesboro.
Final time around and a chance to extend the points gap significantly in the battle for the championship. Tonight, everything falls in place for Lance Ripka. One final set of corners, one final stretch from Greg Ratliff for the first time since October. It's Buckshot Ripka who wins in RGR.
What a performance from Buckshot. He definitely took care of business. Is going to extend his points lead after this one. And last time by, isn't that fitting? He turned his fastest lap of the race, the fastest lap of the race, on his final lap, 18.842.
And another fast run tonight. But this time, instead of second, instead of just third, he puts on a dominant performance. One of his best races, in fact, you can argue his best of the season. Most laps led for him in a single race. His first win since Charlotte. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. Ripka, Greg Ratliff, Spear, Tony Ratliff, Walker the second, Wrecker, Dibble, Darren Bruce, Todd Gilly, and Kwiatkowski, the top 10. Of note, it's Bruce on back who finished laps down. Bruce lost a lap while pitting under caution.
Of course, McGinley in 11th place. Wolf recovers very impressively to get 12th. Blau 13th. Gay 14th. Person 15th. Unfortunate because Person, I think, had the fastest car here tonight, or one of them, I should say. Schrader 16th. Shook in his first start 17th. Collins 18th. And Klaus Williams rounds out this 19-car field.
That's a look top to bottom at the running order here tonight. Let's take a quick step aside. When we come back, post-race coverage continues here from North Wilkesboro. Welcome back, everyone, to RGR coverage here on Grid Vision. It's time for post-race action. After Buckshot Ripka leads 115 laps on the way to victory. We start things off first order, though. Jason Spear finishes in third tonight in the Spear Motorsports machine. The top 5 streak lives, Jason. What's it about short tracks that seems to be very comfortable for you?
I don't know, not sure, other than just making sure I hit my marks, man. This was a slick track out here, and track position was everything. I just kept it clean, try to stay up front, make the pit stops count, and really just hit my points. And I'm glad to be P3. I'd like to be a little closer up, but I just didn't have nothing for Greg to get around him.
In turn, though, you mentioned the difficulty about this circuit. What makes it so tricky compared to, say, a truck or, say, any other type of vehicle when it comes to this Xfinity / Grand National chassis?
Well, it's heavier. It's got more power, of course, which when you get on the throttle, you can really just lose it. I know it's different. They're a lot of fun to drive. I find these cars the best to drive out of any car on here, other than the older stuff. But it's just really fun to drive. It was loose. I'm glad it wasn't tight, but I kept only adding the fuel that I needed just to keep it from being so heavy in the rear. But yeah, they're just heavier and a little looser than the truck.
Well, on that note, though, 1 more mile and a half on the season schedule. It's Kansas. How do you feel about Kansas?
I feel good about Kansas. It's a tough track. It's another one where you can run it wide open, but you have to conserve a little bit. But you got to know where that point of conserve and go is, and that usually a pretty good track for me. I don't know if I got anything for these two in front of me, but I'll give it a shot.
Anyone you want to get a shout out to tonight?
Congratulations to Buckshot. He's the man. Greg's the man. And to the league, man, there's some good drivers in here. I know we had a couple cautions, but wasn't too bad for Wilkesboro, to be honest with you. Thanks for the league, you guys. I watch every race. I go back and watch every one of them, and you guys are some of the best. And my teammate Bernie, he was bad fast, but he was a little under the weather, and just had to finally just throw the towel in.
Well, that explains that situation. But on that note, congratulations on the top 3 again.
Yep, we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Jason Spear comes away in third tonight. Second spot, Greg Ratliff. He led early on, 47 laps. He's with Brian.
Greg, man, what a job to you tonight. Of course, you qualified on the pole. You showed that you had the speed. I mean, even towards the end of the race, you were putting on sub 19-second laps. What could you have done different to beat Buckshot?
We just had to stay in front of them the whole race because we were so even when we were that first stint there. We were just talking about it. It's like there's no way I could have passed him, and I think if I'd been in front, he would have had a problem passing too. So it's just I would have had to keep it in front, and I don't know, got some kind of a penalty. I'm still not sure what that was about, but anyway.
Yeah, that was actually gonna be my next question. So you have no idea what that was about, because we saw all of a sudden a little bit of chaos on that yellow flag, and kind of half of the field pitted and half the field wasn't able to immediately. I think pit lane opened a little early. Just in the chaos, somehow you got a black flag, huh?
Well, iRacing was telling me I'd passed under yellow, but I couldn't figure out who it was. I may have to watch a replay.
Well, still, very good recovery for you. I mean, that could have been the death nail to your race. A lot of times when you, especially in this league, I mean, a lot of times y'all go so green that if you get one penalty, that's kind of it. But luckily, you did get some cautions to kind of go your way to get back on the lead lap and back in contention. Of course, up to second very good points day for you. And also, I think that we had a figure. You have gotten the pole 4 out of 8 races. How about that?
Oh, that's kind of crazy. You know, I love these short tracks, though. I mean, I just, I live for them.
Well, we definitely love to watch you, Greg. Next week, we're going to be heading to a mile and a half, Kansas. I think that's going to be the last mile and a half. How you feeling about that racetrack? Not a short track, that's for sure.
Well, I don't know. I'm never too confident going into mile and a half. So there's a lot of these other guys that's better than me at those tracks, and you know, I'll just show up there and give it my best.
Well, that's all we expect from you, Greg. Who can we shout out?
RGR and all the guys, all the drivers, Todd and George Dibble for all the work he does. And then we had some new guys tonight. I'd like to welcome them, and just glad to see them out here. We need more.
I definitely agree with you, Greg. Well, thanks for your time, and you have yourself a great night, brother.
All right, you too.
And that's Greg Ratliff in second spot. Lance Ripka, another race, his second win of the season, first since October 1st things first. Finally a winner after being close several times. How are you feeling?
I was feeling really good. I got a little nervous there at the end when that last caution came out, but was able to hold off Greg and take it to the house.
In turn, though, how would you describe the racetrack tonight once you got up front?
Once I got up front, I felt real comfortable. I was able to run my own line and, you know, save on the tires and not get so hard on the right rear to make it snappy loose. But yeah, once you got up front, I don't know, it just mentally, I think you just felt a little bit more comfortable with what the racetrack was giving us.
Now, this in turn is a big swing in terms of getting a buffer for the championship point standings. Still have 3 races to go. Essentially, with tonight, get yourself about back to around near 30 points up. What's that pressure like, though, with Kansas knowing you basically need to do well, and essentially one more win could basically put it on ice. And if Thomas Wolf gets a run of 3 wins, it gets interesting now.
Well, I do believe there's only 2 races left, so
Well,
I think this
that makes it even worse.
yeah. So this win was really a big swing in the right direction. I just need to finish well in the next 2 races, and yeah, if everything goes well there, I should be celebrating in the championship circle there.
Any shout-outs you want to give tonight?
Yeah, of course, I want to give a shout out to boys at Spartan Racing, VMR Wraps, Ripka Designs. Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast, and thanks all the guys in the background that make this league happen.
Well, congratulations on the win tonight, Lance.
All right, thank you, sir.
That's Rip coming away with the win tonight. Like, thank the entire top 3 for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on Grid Vision. And Brian, your final thoughts on how things played out tonight? As touched upon, 2 races to go in the season, a big win for the championship hopes for Lance Ripka.
Yeah, no, fantastic race tonight. Very enjoyable, very clean when it comes to short tracks, which is something that we've come to expect, I say, from the RGR camp. And even with the new drivers, I mean, it still was very, very clean. But yeah, this is going to be great for Lance. Of course, Lance is the reigning champion. So I guarantee you that he's going to be trying to see if he can go back-to-back with titles. And he's got a good shot at it.
But still, it's a very calm week on the schedule because it's Thanksgiving. Do you guys like turkey? Do you guys like Black Friday? Do you guys like everything? Well, you get some chances to rest with the holiday week. Tuesday, though, it's champion action at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time before the Thanksgiving break. And after Thanksgiving, Kansas, RGR, penultimate race of the season, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on Grid Vision. And yes, that means an off week for Grid Vision Super Speedways. In turn, though, that's all for tonight's action here from Grid Vision. and from North Wilkesboro. For Brian Britt, for Austin Derbyshire, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching RGR Competition, the chase for the Kaiwu Class Cup, here from North Wilkesboro.